Thanks for joining us today as we drop another episode of the Riff. Today, we're going to continue part 2 of our Enneagram Masterclass that we hosted with Dr. David Swift. If you are just joining us, you missed last week's episode, I encourage you to go back as he talks about the intro of the Enneagram, types 1 through 6. Today, he's going to start with type 7, go type 7, 8, 9, and then answer some common questions people have about the Enneagram. I think it'll be helpful, and we're going to go ahead and go for it right now. So thanks again for joining us.
All right, 7s, party animals. How many 7s we got that know they're 7s? Yeah, see? Woo, oh yeah. Okay, I love 7s. They're so much fun. So enthusiastic about life, they are adventurers. Not that every 7 wants to jump out of an airplane, but they've probably thought about it, okay? These 7s, they want to do all of those extreme things. They want to get all of life, okay? They're very big pictured. So when you give them an idea, I can throw them a pair of readers and they'll go, oh, man, if we could get this to Ethiopia, can you imagine what we could do with this and how that would change the culture? And then we could probably make these into like something else, because I'm not a 7, so I don't know what I'd make it into, but the 7 would come up with something, right? And so they're so big picture oriented and they're so excitable and they have so much energy. Wow, do they have energy, okay? They are classic extroverts. They love people. They are surprisingly non-judgmental, which is kind of cool, you know? You've got the 7, they're going all over. But what does non-judgmental mean? It means that's a secret way of saying, hey, we're all equal here. So that 7 doesn't like authority. They don't like to know that there are people that can boss them around. We don't need bosses. Just everybody do what you're supposed to do. Then it'll be fun. Everything will be fun, right? So they struggle a little bit under management. They struggle being managers because they're always chasing the shiny object, right? But look at that one. So they're like a racehorse that has no finishing power. Now listen, you guys can finish, okay? But I'm trying to get you to focus on coming out of the gate, because when these 7s come out of the gate, they are all about it and they are running full force. Now, where do they get stuck? Details. Details are boring. Details are in the way. They're just in the way. And so what happens with our 7s is they get real excited about all this stuff that's going on. But when it comes down to that nitty gritty, when it comes down to getting it done, they have a hard time completing tasks. And so, but here's the cool thing, like all of you guys, all of us, those lines, I'm not talking about wings. Now I'm talking about the diagram. All of those lines mean something. And every one of those lines is connected to another profile. And when we progress and we mature and we start dumping some of the junk, we actually migrate and we start picking up all of these wonderful details of the other profile. So we get to take all of our good stuff and then we go to this other profile type and we get to pick up those. So a 7 can be very detail oriented, but they have to decide. They have to decide, that's what I'm gonna do. I wanna finish this project because they're kind of, my best friend is named JD, okay? Dr. Forsyth, JD Forsyth. So he is my best friend. And yes, Johnny, the physician that was killed, it was his nephew. So just so you know. So JD is like a 7 and he is fire and fun, right? So we call him JDHD. because he cannot focus on much of anything for any extended window of time. So 7s, no, we're going to love you, and we're going to want to hook our arms into your cloak, and we want to go with you as you fly all over the place. 7s are great networkers. They're perfect to take a company message and send it out to everybody else, because it means they're meeting new people and they're headed in all different kinds of directions, and it just opens up all kinds of opportunities for them, and that just feeds them like crazy. It just feeds that inner drive that they have. But obviously, if you're doing all of this running and gunning, you might look a little impulsive. You might look a little undisciplined, right? You might come across as maybe even a little bit self-centered, because you're doing what you want to do, always doing what you want to do. So keep that in mind. Definitely restless, okay? Definitely restless, impatient, and self-involved. So now remember, these 7s are very big picture oriented. They're a lot of fun to be around. They are going to make whatever you're doing exciting and fun. And it's just a great profile to hang out with. Okay, we doing good? Yep, doing good, okay. 8s, where's my 8s? All right. One girl goes, you know it's coming, don't you? Okay. We're really nice, you guys. Okay, before I go into this, we really are nice people. Okay. Here goes. Action-oriented 8s make it happen. Remember that. They're natural-born leaders and quite often called upon making tough decisions and giving directives. They're willing, which is another word for stupid enough, they're willing to place themselves, remember I'm talking about me too, okay? You guys, just me. Themselves in jeopardy to achieve their vision. They are assertive and very confident. Okay, the gift that we have is that our brains think really, really fast. We're very good assessors, okay? So we have this ability to come upon a scene and go, dun, 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 dun. That's what needs to happen. We're self-assertive enough to think you want to hear our opinion. Okay. Well, you're going to get it whether you like it or not. It's coming, all right? It's coming. We like conflict. We do. We like it. We like it. It's energizing. I like a good fight. Bring it. You don't agree with me? Talk to me. Let's hammer this out. And if I lose and I'm bleeding from the forehead, I'm going to go, good fight. Yeah, we're good. We're good. Okay? We are gold. You want an 8's respect. Confront them. If you don't agree with what I'm saying, now do not do this tonight, please, okay? I have to go home. So if you disagree with me and you come up, you tell me you disagree with me. You put up that fight, put up that argument with me. I'll go round and round with you, but I'm not afraid to lose. And if I'm wrong, I'm not afraid to say I'm wrong, which is kind of the cool part of the 8. We have to be that way because we're very often wrong, okay? Because remember that little assessment tool that God gave us? Sometimes we miss a step or two, okay? Just one or two steps we may have missed that might have delayed the process. So here's the thing, 8s. Yes, you're gifted with this awesome assessment ability to really look at a scenario and get yourself out of that scenario. The problem is that we're not very good at really gathering all of the information that we may need. And that's part of the problem. The other piece is that when you make a decision on how to get there, it's either get on my boat or get out of my way. And I use the word my both times. 8s want to do it alone. They are absolute bulldozers. Okay, now look, you're in trouble, you want an 8 in your corner. I promise you. You're in trouble, find an 8. Because they're not afraid to confront anybody. They will go up against the exec, they will go up against the CEO. They are about fair, truth, and justice. That is the driving force with an 8. So if we see nepotism in a company and we see the boss's son rising very quickly to the top, paint a target on that boy's back or that woman's back. Just paint a target on it because I'm coming after it, right? Because you're supposed to earn this. That's not fair, right? That's not fair. So my wife and I, my wife is a 1. So it's about right and wrong, and my way or the highway. I don't see the problem. And 1s are good fighters, I've learned. Okay, they believe in standing up for themselves. They don't mind fighting for what they need or want. Justice and fair use of power is very important. So if we see power being misused, that gets us. That gets our goose. And again, like I said, we're not afraid to confront. We don't care who it is. Remember, Norma, I can talk about being Gary Smalley's therapist because he gave me permission just like you did. So I got the wonderful opportunity to work with Gary and Norma Smalley. And Norma was telling me, there's a couple of other big names down there. And she said, I told her, go see Dr. Swift. He doesn't care who your husband is. So I was like, is that how I come across? It's like, I'm just sharing information here, right? So initiative and instinct, their initiative is instinctual, okay? The initiative, the need to move is just natural in them. It's a really good thing if they start coming at you. Like I said, if you're not prepared to go up against a fight, be careful. But if you are prepared, don't be afraid. Do not be afraid to go up against them. Challenge them. Stand up to them. See what they really have to say, all right? What's behind that is probably pretty simplistic. It's probably about justice or fairness. And if you can get through that and you can confront that, I promise you, that will bond you with an 8 like nobody's business. So, we're direct, we're protective, we like the underdog, we're dependable, very effective, powerful, straightforward. Like I said, we confront, and you're gonna know where you stand with an 8. They're going to tell you. I was doing Litton Industries, which way back, I don't even know if they're still here, but Litton Industries, and I was telling them about 2s and the 8s, and I said, yeah, 8s will usually tell you, what they're thinking. And I literally had this woman stand up and she goes, hey, Dr. Swift, I'm an 8. And that 2 over there, I love her, but that 2 over there, I don't like her. And we're in front of like 100 people. And she, I don't like her. Can we talk about this later? I'm going to get into a really big debate here and have to do a lot of therapy I wasn't planning on doing. So coupled with a can-do attitude, natural resourcefulness, 8s carry through. They'll follow it all the way through. And like I said, if you can stand the straightforwardness of the 8 and stand up to that, you're gonna bond with a really, really good person. Okay, now look, there's another problem, and it's probably the biggest issue that 8s go through. Probably why I'm considered an expert on anger. I've written all kinds of anger programs for the city and stuff. Anger is like right here, and it has been my entire life. 8s Anger, yeah, it's pretty predominant. It's kind of our first go-to feeling. So we have to learn how to temper that process, okay? And I'm telling you, the second you get stressed, that anger starts to boil and it starts coming up, and it is really, really tough to learn how to suppress that and understand you cannot problem solve with anger. You can only problem create with that emotion. So if that emotion is driving you towards fixing an issue, you're not gonna get it fixed, because you're gonna immediately put somebody else on the defensive, and they're gonna have to take up and put all their defenses up, and that's not a good setting for problem solving, right? So if you're an 8, remember, if you get upset, you need a PBT. Getting torqued or ticked off, I won't use the other word, ticked off. So when you get ticked off, that means back off. It doesn't, but everything in your body, when you guys know, because everybody gets angry, right? Anger's healthy. We need it, but it pushes you forward. So your heart races, your adrenaline, cortisol, norepinephrine, all this stuff just gets dumped into your body. You know, what, I'm supposed to go relax? Yes, that's exactly what you're supposed to do. Go breathe, go get by yourself, just pause, take deep breaths, because all oxygen does is calm all of those chemicals. It's a neutralizer. That's why when people are mad, they say breathe, because when you're angry, you start going, right? Teeth clench, jaws clench up. So just a quick lesson on anger, remember that getting torqued means back off, because you will be much better off when you go here and sit down and figure out what's the real emotion that I'm dealing with here. Because anger is a replacement emotion. We replace it for being embarrassed. We replace it for being rejected. We replace it for being hurt, okay? We use that anger instead of, because it's an upper. But what I need you guys to understand is that you cannot problem solve with anger. You cannot get it done. You might get somebody to back down. That ain't problem solving, ladies and gentlemen. Getting somebody to back down is not solving a problem. All that's doing is being a bully. And that goes for all the profiles, right? That goes for everybody. So remember, if you can back off and find the under emotions, the embarrassment. Because look, if I came up to you and said, Andy, man, you just torqued me off the other day when you said that. Okay, now you guys know this is a lovable guy, right? This is the most lovable guy in the room. But I probably put him on the defense, right? But if I came up to him and I said, Andy, man, that embarrassed me to death. Oh, Dave, I would never done that to you. I'm so sorry. That's how we get problems solved. Excuse me. That's how we get problems solved, is that we identify what your first emotions are, and you talk about those emotions. You don't have to talk about you did this wrong and you did that wrong. What you talk about is, when you did this is how I feel about it. Own the feeling. Own it. Buy it. Say it. This is my feeling, and I just need you to understand that process. Guys, that'll take you steps towards actually getting the problem taken care of. So 8s are directive, protective, dependable, effective, powerful, straightforward, hard-hitting, confrontative, and we love it. Okay, so we're going to do it. Now 8s, there's one other profile that likes that. Not everybody. The other profile is an 8. So that's the only ones that like it. We're the only ones that like the confrontation, all right? So keep that in mind. On the downside, controlling, resistant, harsh, aggressive, self-serving, skeptical, argumentative, combative, okay? Now, look, 8s, none of those are healthy for a relationship, okay? So keep in mind that almost all of that is driven by that emotion of anger. And if we can find those other emotions that are resonating underneath that, we can become a very different person. When I was in business, we'd go out and, hit a bar or something. And my peers, the people that I worked with, would go, who is that guy? Because when we go out and we're not in a competitive, conflictual, combative window, when we go out, we're actually kind of fun. So keep that in mind. We're not all bad. There's a real soft person under there when they feel safe. All right, gonna go to the 9. Peacemakers, how many 9s? Good, okay. Do most of you, how many don't know what they are? That's the right question. How many don't know what they are? Wow, most everybody knows what they are. Okay, did I do something wrong?
Not at all. I have so many questions. I'm just going to sit here and be a 9. I'm going to be a peacemaker while you go through it, and I'm going to be ready to rapid fire.
All right, so the 9 is peacemaker. Their gift is being able to see both sides of the story. Okay, very tender, very soft-hearted, lots of fun. Will never tell you where they want to go to eat. Never. Okay, and anybody who knows the 9 knows exactly what I'm talking about. Wherever you want to go is fine. And that kind of encompasses their profile. They're accommodating. They go with the flow. They want to team with you and go with you. Their needs aren't that important because they're very cool and very okay with just being there. All right, so now this mediation process, so I've got this very peaceful, unassuming, non-judgmental, soft, magnetic kind of person in front of me. And they're gonna make me feel very safe, okay? Now, so what's the problem? Well, there's a couple of opportunities with 9s. If you have this great ability to see the positive things on both sides of the fence, how are you going to make a decision? How hard would it be to make a decision here and here if you're looking at all the my son-in-law, okay, for Christmas. I don't know if it was last year or the year before. So Chris wants a watch. He wants one of those Apple watches. So we're going to get him an Apple Watch for Christmas, but we're kind of like, what do you need? What do you want? I will get it for you. It's not like I'm just going to go buy him a watch. I swear to you, 6 weeks of asking, couldn't decide if he wanted the 26 or the 32, whatever. There's a small one and a bigger one, right? Couldn't decide. Finally pulls the trigger. We get it. We send it to him. He opens it for Christmas, puts it on, goes back and changes it for the other one. True story, as I'm standing here. True story. So it's tough. It's really tough for them. But it's not because they're not good decision makers. It's because they see all this great stuff. And it's just how they pull information in. Now, you cannot not like a 9. I mean, you just can't. You're just going to love them. My brother's a 9. He's got his master's. He throws cards. He throws the Spirit in Tulsa. That's his full-time job. He's a Texas Hold'em dealer, and he has a lawn mowing service that has like 60 lawns or something during the day. But I'm telling you, he's this big. Okay, he's 6'3", something, 240. Guys, I can go out here to Springfield and sit down somewhere. I won't know a soul. I could go to Avanzari or a restaurant or to the mall. I won't see a single person in there that I know. Tulsa, 10 times as big as we are, right? Doesn't matter where we go. Hey, Swift, what's going on? My little brother is more known, and he was like that in high school. Everybody knows him. And so it's amazing to me how many people just come up to Doug and talk to him every time we go out, no matter where we go. And that's pretty common because they're so attractive to the process. So, kind, gentle, reassuring, supportive, loyal, easygoing, stable, trusting, non-judgmental. Okay, you're not going to get judged by a 9. So what? They never get angry? Time out. Yeah, they do. They get real angry. What do you do with that anger? Nothing. Nothing. They just hang on to it. So now remember, they don't like confrontation. They're the least confrontative of all 8 other profiles. They're the least confrontative. Now think about Doug and I. I'm an 8, he's a 9. It was not a fun childhood, okay? It was not a fun, now we love each other and we run around together now, but it was not a fun childhood. So if you've got these 9s that are struggling with not being able to make decisions, they get angry and they become passive aggressive because that's the only way that they can dump the anger and feel better because they don't have to confront. So I'll call Doug and, boy, I called you twice. Yeah, I forgot. So anybody that knows a 9, they know this excuse. I forgot is real common with 9s, okay? So my brother, see? Because I forgot. So what we really have to do with, as a 9, what you really need to do is try to understand the value of confrontation, the value of actually standing up. Because if you don't stand up for yourself, what's gonna happen? You're gonna get stomped on, right? And that's what happens with 9s. They get used, they get stomped on, they get taken advantage of. And then the 9 turns around and they become passive aggressive and they start doing things behind your back that are gonna kill you. Because they're going to get you back, right? That important report that you needed to go to your CEO with, that the 9 had to do some input on, I forgot. Okay, I'm sorry, I forgot. So keep that in mind. Now, guys, something really, let's do the questions.
I'm not going to interrupt you. You're an 8, so interrupting you is just
I dare you. Oh, come on, try. Bring it. One thing that I do want to say about the profiles. Michael Smalley and Amy had called me very early on. Now, guys, the Enneagram has just become really hot, right? They're starting to talk about it. It's being taught at Stanford. My profiles that you'll see have a date of 2001. Okay, I got really, really interested in the profiling system 23 years ago. And Michael and Amy wanted to start a dating program, and they wanted to use this to determine who's your best partner. So if you're an 8, who's your best partner? If you're a 2, who's your best partner? And I said no. I said no, you can't have them. Now, that probably cost me a whole lot of money, okay? But that's not what this system is for. You guys, this is to show you how to get along with whomever you're with, okay? My profiles will tell you in the back, this is your junk, okay? This is the junk. You need to pay attention to this page. Then there's another page that talks about what your partner can do to make you feel better. And that's really, really important. Okay? So remember, this is not about whether you're compatible, this is about how to be compatible.
That was actually a question.
Oh, good.
So whoever texted that, no. The answer is no. No. Can we just give a round of applause for Dr. Swift?
Thank you.
That was phenomenal. Thank you.
Did we do it in our time window?
Look, we still have 9 minutes, so we're going to rapid fire. This one's from Nixa. Are you related to Taylor Swift, and what do you think her Enneagram is?
Go ahead and laugh, because he who laughs last most. I have a daughter named Taylor, and she sang on this stage, okay? She sang for this church as one of the programs. She went to MSU on a vocal scholarship. She has blonde hair. But she's 2 years older than the other Taylor, and Time magazine has actually interviewed her and wrote an article on having somebody's famous name. So yes.
So take that, Nixa.
Yes.
The answer is yes. Okay.
So yes, I do know her.
All right.
She's a 2.
She's a 2.
Yeah, Taylor's a 2.
I don't think that Taylor Swift's a 2.
My Taylor.
Yours is.
My Taylor's a 2.
This is a lot of questions about kids, okay?
Oh, wow.
When
Okay.
trying to figure out what number your child is there an age or stage? And are you observing behavior? Just talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, you guys, there's actually a book out, Wagle, W-A-G-L-E, I think is the author, and it talks about children in the Enneagram, and it's a good reference. Okay. Careful, please be careful with this, okay? If you misidentify a person, a child, what are you gonna, you're gonna make all these decisions off of thinking that you know this much about your child. So, but I would look at that, and look, you know that you probably have a 5 if they're not very social and they're spending a lot of time in their room studying, because the other profiles don't do that very much. So, if you've got somebody who's introverted that kind of stays away, that wants to read, gets very interested in subjects and, different things, then yeah, you're probably hanging with a 5 there. Now, the important part of this, you guys, and I get this, especially with you 9s, the parents of 9s. When the 9s have parents that are like a 3 or an 8 or a 1 that are hard hitting and want to go, they end up in my office. We don't know what to do with our kid. Our kid won't move. They won't get out. They won't do what we want them to do. It's 9. They're going to be okay. They're going to be fine. You just have to let them do. And that's something you got to remember.
The parent ends up in your office.
Yes, not the kid. The parent.
Time will tell.
Yes, because you can't get them going. It doesn't matter what. You can't get them going. And so, be really careful projecting these qualities that you were born with onto another person that wasn't born with those qualities.
Very good. Okay, a lot about this as well. If you have a number and you identify as a number on the Enneagram, aren't you pigeonholing yourself?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's something that you should worry about, okay? You absolutely should be concerned about it. But it's why I love the Enneagram. You guys, I wish that I had a thing up top.
But if they buy your assessment, they will.
Yeah, the design, okay, the crown, all those lines mean they're progression and regression lines. And what happens is that when, like I talked about the 2, that when they regress, they get upset, they get angry, that they start acting like an 8, okay, but when they mature and they start dumping all of this need to help other people, they move to the 4. Now think about this. What did I tell you about the 2? The 2 is about other people, and what do they forget about? Themselves. But what I say about the 4 is about themselves, right? They're focused on themselves. And so that's exactly what happens to every single profile. That this mathematical design, which is kind of scary because they said you can explain everything mathematical, but this is the symbol is actually a mathematical construct that shows the relationships between numbers. But when your 7 moves to the 1, the 7 is all chasing every shiny object, right? What's the 1 doing? All about the details. All about the details. So that's why I love the Enneagram, because it does exactly that, or exactly the opposite. It doesn't allow you to be pigeonholed unless you're stubborn. Unless you don't want to listen, unless you don't want to read and learn. Yes, if you're like that, you're pigeonholed. But don't, this is what it's for. Learn it, break free. And I'm telling you, you'll be amazed at what you can accomplish, because that 9 who's very laid back is connected to the 3. What's the 3? They're good corporate executives. They're the ones they're making everything happen, right? So here you have this 9 who's very passive and enjoyable and loving and just along for the ride. When they learn how to put some of that down and stand up for themselves, get rid of some of that passive aggressiveness, they migrate to that 3. My very good friend Tim Brown, who was a principal at a small school. He was a 9. He's so lovable. And he is now a corporate consultant. He's been to Australia, Dubai, literally all over the world, just teaching technology to new teachers. He just broke him out. It's just amazing. Awesome. Absolutely amazing.
Okay, I'm going to try to do 4 and 4 questions in 4 minutes. You ready? You ready? Okay, does your Enneagram ever change in different stages of your life?
Think of this as your template, and the change comes from migration, right? Think of, it's a template, it's a blueprint, right? But when you start building, you guys, if you've ever worked on a blueprint, you can change things as you move forward. Look, I'm not crazy about details, but I had a boss who rode me like a horse. I got pretty good at details, right? So, I can pick up other things that I'm not connected to the one. So we can pick up traits from other people, right, that we like, but remember that our progression line is going to open your soul. It will open you up to everything that your original profile left out. So I think that we're born with it, but I think we have the world, it allows us to just do whatever we want to do.
Okay, I'm going to change it to 2 and 4. 2 questions in 4 minutes.
Okay.
No, we're doing
Did
great.
I go too fast?
To what you just said, someone said it was stated that we're born with personalities. It's been explained that we're born with a temperament and the environment changes our personality. Could you just talk about it for a little bit?
So is this nurture versus nature?
I would think so.
Yeah, nurture versus nature kind of thing. Guys, definitely it's absolutely silly to think that nurture doesn't affect us, okay? So it's how much does it affect us? A child that gets all of the love and care of 2 really, really great parents receives this goodness into their process, okay, into their way of thinking. Children who don't get that receive the same amount of bad stuff into their process and into their thinking. So nature is a force to deal, nurturing is a force to deal with, just like nature is. I really put more emphasis on nurture because I think the template is built when you're there, okay? That's why you kind of end up in therapy, because your template really didn't get nurtured as you were growing up, right? And so you come to me to kind of weed out some of the stuff that happened to you as a child. You weed that out, and then you find out who you really are. And it's all there. It's just that I think nurture will either accentuate that it's there, or it may pull you further away, and you're not going to be comfortable in your skin if you were pulled away from that. So do not hesitate to ask for some help, because that's exactly what we're trained in, is to get you guys back to who you really are and what all the value is, where all the value is in being who you are.
I just want to sit and have a counseling session with you now.
Let's go.
Not right here on stage.
You don't mind the problem with confidentiality.
This is going to be really awkward.
Let's rock and roll.
And it's going to take way, way long time. Okay. Let me do this. I want to say to Nixa and to everybody here, to sit down, I think everybody would want to sit down with you and to say, hey, can you help me get back to who I was created to be?
Sure.
And I know that's impossible, but that's why you have this assessment. That's why you have this profile. It's robust. It's not something that if you took the free version and you got a paragraph on. No, this is helping you get back to your template. So I just want to say this. If you at all are captivated by this and you go, I want to learn more, I know my Enneagram number, please go out there. It's $15. We have it in the lobby. We have it in both lobbies in Nixa and here in Springfield. That all you're going to do is write down your name, your email, and your Enneagram number, turn it in, and Dr. Swift's going to email you within the next 2 weeks-ish, because he's having family come in.
Yeah, my daughter's coming in. So she's supposed to come in tomorrow, and I haven't seen her in a year.
So work
I'm
while
really
that's
excited.
If you haven't taken the Enneagram, or if you took a really free, fast version, it's like 5 questions on your Instagram feed that popped up, and you want the real one, you can purchase the Enneagram assessment that he endorses, and then he will send your profile assessment as well. That's $20, okay? So for $15, if you know your Enneagram number, you can get the profile. For $20, you can take the assessment, you're gonna email him back the results, and then you're gonna get the profile. All of this, we're gonna actually resend to you his email address, all that stuff tomorrow. If you registered, you're gonna get an email tomorrow. But don't leave tonight without doing that, or buying his book on Amazon, which, tell me the title again, because I think it's very funny.
So the title is She Loves the Dog More Than Me, okay? And it's how my dog stole my wife's heart and what God says about winning it back. You guys, here's where it came from. It came from therapy and couples. And they would sit down and the guy would go, And they used a bad word, which I'm not going to use. Use it?
It's North Point.
Okay, she loves that damn dog more than she loves me.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the female dog word, because I was like, oh my goodness, Dr. Swift. No.
She loves it. She loves that dog. So I thought, yeah, you knuckle dragging Neanderthal, you need to just get your butt up and start connecting with your wife. That's what I thought first, right? It's like, get out. She loves the dog more than you. Okay, 6 couples later, about 8 months later, I'm still getting it. I've had it like 4 times. 4 different men have come in and said, she loves the dog more than me. And so then I start thinking, there's gotta be something to this, right? So I did this informal survey, and I said on Facebook with all my friends, I said, hey, what do you women like about your dog? So, and I'm thinking, oh, he's cuddly and furry and, he's always with me. He lays down with me. Oh no, he's loyal. He's committed. He's happy to see me when he comes home. He'll snuggle and not want sex.
That's the next Masterclass. Register today. Register today. The link is on North Point app.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Hey, give a round of applause. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to this episode of The Riff. We'll have a brand new episode every week, wherever you find podcasts.